Hey, Tim Unkert here, and in this video, we're going to use object-oriented programming in PHP to create a program that lists out multiples from 1 up to some second number that you give of some first number you give. Okay, so I'm going to open a text editor and we'll go through the process here. And I've got this file called multiples-yt for YouTube.php. And we're first going to start by opening and closing our PHP tags. Okay. Next, we're going to define a class, and we're going to call that class multiples. Then I have open and closing curly braces. And I'm going to make a comment that I have some properties that I need to define. And I'm going to use the word public, and then number 1, and then public, and number 2. Okay, and now I'm going to define a method. And this method, to define it, I'm going to say function, and we'll call the method list multiples. And the method's going to take in number 1 and number 2. And then we're going to use the word this number 1 equals number 1, and this number 2 equals number 2. Okay, and then we'll have a for loop. So I'm going to say for, and I'm going to start a variable increment. I'm going to start that at 1 because we're going from 1 up. And that's going to be I, so I'm going to set that equal to 1. And then I'm going to have I less than or equal to this, $, this number 2, because we're going up to number 2. And I'm going to increment I up each time. Okay, so now we're going to check. We're going to check if the variable I, if the modulus of that and this number 1, because we're seeing if it's the multiple of number 1, if that's equal to 0. So why are we checking this? Well, what the modulus operator does is it divides one number by the other number and tells you what the remainder is. Or, well, it tells you what the remainder is of that division. If that's equal to 0, then the first number is divisible by the second number. Therefore, it's a multiple. Okay, so now I know it's a multiple, so I'm going to echo the variable I, then concatenate, then a space, is a multiple of, and I'm going to concatenate this number 1, then concatenate. I just want to have some neatness here, a period to end the sentence, an escape character, an N for a new line. And then if it doesn't meet these conditions, it's not a multiple, so I'm going to echo I is not a multiple of, concatenate, this number 2, concatenate, and then a period to end the sentence, an escape character, an N for a new line. Okay, and I'm going to save that, and that's our function. So down here, I'm going to create a variable, and let's call it multiples list 1, and that's going to be a new multiple. Okay, and then I'm going to say multiples list 1, and we'll call the method list multiples, and we'll pass in 2 to start and 10 to finish. So it's going to list numbers from 1 to 10, telling if they're a multiple of 2. Okay, let's run the program. And to run it, I have PHP installed, so I'm going to type PHP multiples-yt.php. And I've got an error. Okay, and okay, I typed something wrong. So this will happen. This should be multiples. Okay, I'm going to save that because if you see up here, I named it multiples and I typed multiple. So sometimes that happens. It's early in the morning, I haven't had my coffee. All right, so let's run PHP multiples-yt.php. Okay, and close that out. Anyways, we can ignore that. So we're starting 1 is not a multiple of 10, 2 is not a multiple, or 2 is a multiple of 2, 3 is not a multiple of 10, 4 is a multiple of 2, 5 is not a multiple of 10, so on and so forth till 10 is a multiple of 2. So that's from 1 to 10, listing multiples of 2. We can close that out. Let me close. Why is this not closing? No, I'm going to close it over here. Okay, so I can do that, but let's comment this stuff out. And this is where object-oriented programming becomes an advantage, because I can just reuse this and I can create a new variable. Let's call this multiples list 2 and say that's a new multiples. Okay, and then let's do multiples list 2, and we're going to run the method list multiples. And we're going to pass in, let's pass in 3 and 27 this time. Okay, and I'm going to save that, open up my terminal, and now I'm going to run php multiples-yt.php, and you'll see it starts back here at 1 and goes up to 27, telling which numbers are a multiple. So you see 24 is a multiple of 3, because 3 times 8 is 24. 15 is a multiple of 3. 3 times 5 is 15, so on and so forth. And so I can reuse this program with different objects as much as I want. So it really is nice to be able to do that and create a program that is reusable and you can use for other things. And so if you have any questions, please leave comments in the comments below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, as it really helps the channel grow. And I thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.